Anytime we put Syndicate on a product, it really has to pass the test of Marcus Brown, John Travers, Will Asher, myself, Bob LaPointe. I'm super excited about the new system. I think everybody on the pro team is. This is something that a lot of us have been using, and to be the first big manufacturer to offer something like this to the general public in a more refined, more user-friendly, even higher performing product is important to us. This is a fully releasable boot and binding system. This is called the Syndicate Hardshell. You have a shell very similar to an inline skate shell that your foot goes into. The thing about this is your foot stays in the boot. What releases is what you see back here, this heel release unit. There's a spring back here. You set a tension similar to a snow ski binding. If you get in an awkward position, it triggers the spring and this system releases, and the shell can actually come off of the binding plate, come off of the ski. One of the biggest differences between this system and all the other releasable binding systems on the market is really underneath the boot itself. So you can see right here, we 3D printed this base plate. It's essentially the female to the male boot, meaning that the boot sits down into the plate, recesses in, so you have a very strong connection. It allows the ski to roll on the edge very crisply, and there's no disconnect, meaning when you move your center of mass, the ski rolls with you. And that's very unique. You don't find that on the other systems on the market. You know, we were a little bit dissatisfied with the liners on the market, so we made our own. We have a heat moldable liner. It has 6mm foam through the bottom. We have a neoprene toe box. We reinforced the areas where liners typically fall apart after a couple seasons, and we put the power strap on the top so that the liner tracks with the cuff. In the front, we developed a new stainless steel hoop. It's buffed on the edges, and then it's plasti dipped. So it has a nice durable shell, but the toe of the boot indexes into the stainless hoop, and it's much more streamlined. It has more connection points. That's one of the big advantages to this system. The other thing I really like about the shell is the plastic. The durometer is a little bit softer. For me, this is a better combination. A little higher cuff height, a little bit softer shell. It's much more user-friendly. I just think it skis better, and I think anybody who tries it will feel the difference over their older shells. So the buckles are unique on this boot. They're all aluminum. They have a micro adjust, so meaning you can take the buckles off and rotate the buckle itself. The top buckle on this is very unique, kind of a pressure lock. It opens, and then actually the pin slides out, and this all comes open like this, and you have your ladder over here on the side. It allows for really easy entry, but you don't have to worry about, finding your ladder every single time. Once you set this, it's set. So you slide this in and close it, it's the same tension every single set. So that's something that's really nice. The details of the design, it comes on a G10 plate. The hole pattern for this will fit any of the current water ski manufacturers' front boot hole patterns. It comes in 4 different sizes. The small size is 6, the next size is an 8, we have a 10 and a 12. In the past, there's been some boot systems that had the Achilles style strap in the back, and those had a little different shell design. You'll notice that the lower portion of the shell and the cuff didn't interact much. If you look in the inside of this, you can see more or less there's like what we call like a V-cut spine on the back of the lower shell portion. And there's actually pretty high front on the lower part of the shell system. And that essentially acts as a stopper from moving backwards too drastically or moving forward too drastically. So as you move forward, that V-cut spine compresses, which is nice because it gives you that kind of like feedback and forward flexion we all like. Instead of being completely free and just having a mechanical stop, that V actually slows the rate of forward flexion and essentially at a certain point becomes static. So that's something our design team was pretty stoked on, to have feedback and forward flexion, to have it be progressive, not so on and off, but to have enough force to overcome the release mechanism, and makes it very user-friendly to ski in. Even bigger than that, I think if you take a step back, I truly believe this style of binding with an injection molded shell and a releasable binding mechanism is the future of our sport. I equate it to snow skiing. Back in the 50s, people wore leather boots, and some ski racers got the idea to start using injection molded plastic boots, and that changed the game. I mean, you can't buy leather boots nowadays. So I really believe that, and I hope so anyways, in a couple years, that this is what the majority of people are skiing on, just from a comfort, performance, and durability standpoint. So yeah, I'm excited to be the first big brand to introduce this to the everyday water skier.